welcome everyone to the nominee announcement for the 2019 Nerdy Movie Awards. Yeah, sorry this is a bit late. I mean, well, granted, I'm always late on everything, so whatever. If you don't know what the Nerdy Movie Awards are, it's this stupid award show I do every year to honor movies. It used to be about TV shows, but as of the past couple years, it's just been about movies. And, yeah, I've had my ups and downs with the Nerdy Movie Awards in terms of what I would have chosen back then and whatnot as nominees and stuff. I'm actually going to try to do a video explaining the Nerdy Movie Awards and sort of showing, you know, what I would change about any of those years in terms of the nominees and whatnot. Because my opinion has changed over the years, so there is that. But I'm very grateful, though, because a lot of really generous, you know, famous people have been, you know, were presented for the Nerdy Movie Awards, like Debbie Derryberry, the voice of Jimmy Neutron, or Quentin Reviews, or, you know, like E.G. Daily, lots of really, really talented people, and, yeah, I'm probably not gonna have any presenters this year, probably not. I don't know, maybe I'll get one for Best Picture, but then again, even then, this year's gonna be kind of different, because, there's gonna be a few changes. One, I'm splitting Best Screenplay into Best Original Screenplay and Best Adapted Screenplay. Because I feel like those two are pretty different disciplines. One is coming up with an idea all your own. The other one is trying to adapt something that previously existed and trying to, you know, live up to that. And I'm also separating Best Sound into Best Sound Editing and Sound Mixing. I'll explain those once we get to those categories, but I did find that there was a major difference between the two. I'm bringing back Best Ensemble Cast. I'm also, this is a pretty big change. When it comes to the category of, you know, all the worst of categories, like Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, Worst Actor, Worst Actress, I'm actually getting rid of all those categories except for Worst Picture. I just kind of want to just focus on, you know, what's generally the worst movie of the year. Like, what are the worst movies of the year? So, yeah, that's changing a bit. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that's being majorly changed in terms of, like, what the categories are. None that I can think of. But also, another thing that is going to be changing is sort of how the awards are going to play out. I will still leave open voting out there, but on the Nerdy Movie Awards, there'll be sort of two winners-ish, which is going to be the public vote and the public voted winner and my winner, who I would choose as the winner for any of these categories, because, like, I feel like it'd also be a really good experience to sort of, you know, critique a little bit about each individual category myself, and sort of giving my reasoning, and maybe, you know, that can, you know, shape your opinion and whatnot. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, your opinion must be the same as mine. No, I mean, like, sort of comparing my opinion to your opinion and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you might learn some stuff along the way. It's sort of gonna be like, you know, almost like a little educational course on movies and whatnot. I don't know. I just wanted to do something new for the Nerdy Movie Awards. So yeah, there is that. And without any further ado, let's get on to the categories. And our first category today is Best Original Song, and the nominees are I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4, I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, Spirit from The Lion King, and Stand Up from Harriet. The nominees for Best Original Score are 1917, Thomas Newman, Avengers Endgame, Alan Silvestri, Joker, Hildur Guðnadóttir, Or is it Guanadodir? She's a really, that's her name. Little Women, Alexandre Desplat. And Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, John Williams. The nominees for Best Soundtrack are Aladdin, Frozen 2, The Lego Movie 2, the second part, The Lion King, and Rocket Man. The nominees for Best Sound Mixing are, basically what sound mixing is how do all the sounds mesh well together? Like, not just the sound effects, but also, like, the dialogue, the music, any silence in the movie. That's basically what sound mixing is. Like, how well do all the sounds mesh up together? And here are your nominees. 1917, Avengers Endgame, Ford v Ferrari, Joker, and The Lion King. Our next category is sound editing, and sound editing is pretty much best sound effects. That's really what you need to know. It's best sound effects, sort of. And your nominees are 1917, Ford v Ferrari, Godzilla King of the Monsters, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Warning, the following category includes an image that contains a spoiler for Avengers Endgame. Cover your eyes if you don't want to be spoiled, and by the time I get to the next category, the image will be gone. And it's really only a visual spoiler. I'm not going to be saying what it is. It's just an example to give you an idea of why this is being nominated for this category. Alright? So like I said, by the time this category is... By the time I say the name of the next category, it'll be safe to open your eyes. The nominees for Best Visual Effects are Avengers Endgame, Gemini Man, The Irishman, The Lion King, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Now, before you vote in this category, there will be a link in the description below that takes you to a video. It's a pretty short video that shows you brief excerpts of each movie nominated for Best Visual Effects. And I really suggest watching that before you make your vote, because I want you to be as well informed about why each movie is being nominated for Best Visual Effects before you go vote. And don't vote for which movie you think is the best movie. Vote for which one you think has the best visual effects. The ones that is like, wow, how did they do that? How did this, stuff like that. The nominees for Best Hair and Makeup are Bombshell, Hellboy, The Irishman, Joker, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. The nominees for Best Costume Design are Aladdin, Dolomite Is My Name, Dumbo, Midsommar, and Rocket Man. The nominees for Best Production Design are 1917, Aladdin, Midsommar, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. The nominees for Best Film Editing are 1917, Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Joker, and Midsommar. The nominees for Best Cinematography are 1917, A Hidden Life, The Lighthouse, Midsommar, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. The nominees for Best Female Voiceover or Motion Capture are Kristen Bell for Frozen 2, Idina Menzel for Frozen 2, Annie Potts for Toy Story 4, Rosa Salazar for Alita Battle Angel, and Shahadi Wright Joseph for The Lion King. The nominees for Best Male Voiceover or Motion Capture are Chiwetel Ejiofor for The Lion King, Tom Hanks for Toy Story 4, Ryan Reynolds for Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Seth Rogen for The Lion King, and Will Smith for Aladdin. Yeah, I'm counting him because even though he did have some live-action scenes, he had a lot of motion capture scenes, so yes, I count that. The nominees for Best Animated Film are Frozen 2, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, Klaus, The Lion King, and Toy Story 4. The nominees for Most Disappointing Film are Dark Phoenix, Dumbo, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Hellboy, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The nominees for Most Surprising Film, and by surprising film I mean like these are the films that I thought would suck the most, but then actually turned out to be pretty good, or even hell, really good, who knows. Dora and the Lost City of Gold, Fighting with My Family, The Kid Who Would Be King, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. The nominees for Most Underrated Film are Aladdin, Glass, The Lion King, Missing Link, and Rambo: Last Blood. The nominees for Most Overrated Film are I Lost My Body, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, The Report, Spider-Man: Far From Home, and Us. The nominees for Worst Picture are After, Arctic Dogs, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, Norm of the North: Keys to the Kingdom, and Unplanned. The nominees for Best Villain are Chiwetel Ejiofor for The Lion King, James McAvoy for Glass, Lupita Nyong'o for Us, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. The nominees for Best Female Hero are Halle Berry for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, Cynthia Erivo, Harriet, Scarlett Johansson, Avengers: Endgame, Idina Menzel for Frozen 2, and Rosa Salazar for Alita: Battle Angel. The nominees for Best Male Hero are Robert Downey Jr. for Avengers: Endgame, Chris Evans for Avengers: Endgame, Donald Glover for The Lion King, Chris Hemsworth for Avengers: Endgame, and Keanu Reeves for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. The nominees for Best Ensemble Cast are Avengers: Endgame, Knives Out, The Lion King, Little Women, and Parasite. The nominees for Best Supporting Actress are Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Scarlett Johansson, Jojo Rabbit, Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Zhao Shuzhen for The Farewell. The nominees for Best Supporting Actor are Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse, Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Song Kang-ho for Parasite, Al Pacino for The Irishman, and Joe Pesci for The Irishman. The nominees for Best Actress are Awkwafina for The Farewell, Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, and Renee Zellweger for Judy. The nominees for Best Actor are Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Taron Egerton for Rocketman, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems. The nominees for Best Adapted Screenplay are Avengers: Endgame, written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, written by Mika Fitzerman-Blue and Noah Harpster, The Irishman, written by Steven Zalian, Jojo Rabbit, written by Taika Waititi, and Joker, written by Todd Phillips and Scott Silver. The nominees for Best Original Screenplay are Knives Out, written by Ryan Johnson. Marriage Story, written by Noah Baumbach. Midsommar, written by Ari Aster. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written by Quentin Tarantino. And Parasite, written by Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-won. The nominees for Best Director are Jon Favreau for The Lion King, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Sam Mendes for 1917, Anthony and Joe Russo for Avengers Endgame, and Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit. And now, guys, here it is. Here are your 10 nominees for Best Picture, and the nominees are 1917, Avengers Endgame, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Knives Out, The Lion King, Midsommar, and Parasite. There you go, guys. Those are your nominees for the 2020 Nerdy Movie Awards. I'd like to thank you guys for being here with me on this journey. Again, there will be some links in the description below to take you to the visual effects reel that I put up for you guys. There will also be playlists for Best Original Score and Best Original Song, where in Best Original Score there's a playlist for Best Original Score where lets you hear a track from each of the nominated movies, and I really suggest giving that a listen before you give your votes. And same thing goes for Best Original Song. All of the Best Original Song nominees are also in a playlist in the description below. I'd really suggest listening to those songs before you give your vote. And like I said, especially watch that video for Best Visual Effects, because I also do a little narration explaining why each movie is nominated. And I feel like that you guys would really benefit from watching that before voting, because there's some things in visual effects that'll really surprise you. And so, yeah. And look, are you gonna disagree with some of my choices? Absolutely, but but what award show do you not disagree with? I mean, seriously. Again, even the Nerdy Movie Awards isn't anything major. It's just something I like to do every year. I've been very, very privileged to have some very talented people presenting in those categories in past years. I may get a presenter or two. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, there will also be a link in the description below for you to vote, cast your votes. But however, before you cast your votes, make sure you're well informed. Make sure you see as many of these movies as possible. I know The Irishman and Marriage Story are on Netflix, and so is Klaus. You can rent a lot of these movies on, whether it's, through DVD or Blu-ray or Redbox or Amazon Prime, or Amazon, Google Play, or whatnot, who knows. Midsommar actually is available on Amazon Prime, so I would suggest that. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Also, if you want to support me and the channel and whatnot, then go to my Patreon page. Yes, Patreon. I have a Patreon where I have 2 tiers on Patreon. One of them is a $2 a month tier, where you can have your name in my videos, how you just saw in the beginning. And for $5 a month, you can have all the exclusive Patreon perks, including having your name in my videos. You also get the Hannahcast audio-only version, and you get the Hannahcast after show, where me and Raphael, or whatever guest I have, just talk about random stuff. It could even be about politics or whatever. Whoopsies, I shouldn't have clicked that. Hee hee. But however, there will also be more things in the... there will be more perks on Patreon to come. I don't know exactly what, but that's the thing. We want to get this thing going. And so, this is much cheaper than what it was. So, really, if you just do $5 a month, that's cheaper than Disney Plus. This is cheaper than the entire library of Disney on Disney Plus. So, hey, why not try it out? So, yeah. And if you want to see, and also if you want to have, if you have any questions you want us to read, comments or questions you want us to read on the Hannahcast, then tip us at least $2 at streamelements.com/christiansreviews/tip, and you can have your questions or comments answered on the Hannahcast by me and Raphael. Think of it as almost like a shout out, and we can also answer movie related questions or whatever questions you have. You'd be supporting the channel, so yeah. And without any further ado, if you want to see more, click this.